Yeah, yeah. I know a lot of people who gon' question if I'm serious. Think I'm delirious. Maybe I'll be separate from you on how I'm gearing it. Maybe I'll be stepping in twos and you'll be wheeling it. Don't ask me if I'm feeling it, cause one minute I will, the next minute I feel like I want nothing to deal with anything in the world. I see vacancy. Spent my whole life looking for a break, you see. Look at me, I've been fighting with my own brain. You can see I be riding under no name.
Welcome back, guys. In this lesson, we're going to learn how to translate power into R2. There's a lot of different parts of the technique that have to be done correctly and at the right time. You want to get maximum efficiency, speed, and power in this technique. I'm going to go over those things right now. In this next section, what we're going to work on is proper weight transfer and hip rotation, and I'm going to go over why that's important. If you look here, I'm going to be rotating that back foot and my hips completely, which allows me to get my shoulders completely turned. When I do that, I'll get the maximum amount of reach possible. I'll also be in a stance which is completely balanced. If I wanted to change direction or move my head or cut an angle, I could do so. But if I lean too far forward and get my shoulders past my knees, it's going to be much more difficult. So I'm going to demonstrate right now using the example of a different sport, baseball. Now, in baseball, when you're trying to swing a bat, what you normally do is you shift your weight from your back foot towards your front foot, and then you torque your hips and follow through with the upper body. So check it out. This allows you to get the maximum weight transfer and translate as much power into that strike as that you need to get the ball all the way across the fence. Hey guys, in this next segment, what I'm going to do is I'm going to illustrate to you the importance of using your entire body when you throw a right hand. So the first thing I'm going to do is put both of my shoulders against the wall, and I'm going to try to shoot a shot put with the medicine ball as far as I can, just using my right arm. Next, I'm going to get in a fighter type stance, and I'm going to turn my body and torque my hips, turn my foot properly, and throw everything at the right time and release that ball as far as I possibly can. And what you should see is a very marked difference in the amount of power I'm able to apply into the ball and the distance I'm able to throw it. Right here, what I'm going to do is I'm keeping both shoulders pasted to the wall, and I'm really trying to give that a big hurl and go as far as I possibly can with that throw. Obviously, I didn't get very far at all. The sad part is I actually used a lot of effort and energy to do it. Now what I'm doing is I'm putting all my weight on my back foot. I'm going to shift my weight onto my front foot, rotate my hips properly, turn my shoulders as far as possible, and launch the ball much, much further, hopefully this time. Twice the result with the equal amount of effort. All right, guys, in this next section, I'm going to go over some very common mistakes when trying to deliver power on a right hand. So, as you notice, I'm trying to push my foot into the ground, but my hips are not rotating at all. So just driving your foot into the ground and pressing into it as hard as you can doesn't always offer you the most reach and power in your punch. Notice my hip is staying behind me. That's not good at all. The only way I'm going to get the reach I want is going to be to lean, and that's going to put me severely off balance and make it much more difficult for me to fire a proper left hook. Now, what I'd rather do is take my right knee and point it to the back of my left knee. And I'm going to imagine that I'm standing on a pickle jar on my right foot. And as I twist, I'm going to open the pickle jar. What's going to happen then is my right hip's going to shoot all the way forward, making my spine much more relaxed and easy to turn, making it a lot easier for me to shoot my right shoulder forward and pull my left shoulder back. This will avoid me hunching over too much and being off balance and leaning to get my shot. It'll also keep me in a position where I can fire the left hook with a lot more speed and power. All right, guys, in this next section, I'm going to go over some of the finer points of your stance and your guard. Now, what I want you to imagine is that you are a billboard and somebody's throwing rocks at this billboard. It's much easier to hit those targets if they're wide like this. All of your vital targets are right down the center. Your eyes, nose, mouth, chin, throat, sternum, solar plexus, everything is down the middle there. We want to minimize our center line targets by turning diagonal. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my right shoulder and turn back and put my left shoulder forward. That's going to minimize my target slightly, and to further protect myself, I'm going to keep my head off of the center line as I'm moving down, up, left, right, and as I deliver the right hand, I'm going to also move my head off the center line. So if my opponent's throwing at the same time, it's going to be a lot less likely that they're going to be able to connect if the target is not there to begin with. All right, guys, in this section, I'm going to go over the importance of the pistol grip. What I'm trying to do here is bring my two larger knuckles forward. What's going to happen is the two larger knuckles are going to be able to pierce my glove more. Those bones where those knuckles are attached are much thicker and more sturdy and can take a lot more abuse and damage. It's a lot less likely that I'm also going to break my hand. Most common boxer's fractures happen on the outside of the hand, so I'm going to avoid that by bringing those two knuckles forward. Believe it or not, if you look here on this clip, you can see that my knuckles will actually come forward about half an inch. So any of you guys who've fought or sparred before know that having a half an inch of reach makes a big difference if you just miss somebody. All right, guys, in this next section, what I'm going to talk about is something that's very often overlooked when it comes to increasing your power in your straight right hand. So if you look at my forearm, we could say that it's fairly parallel to the ground. As you throw your hand into your target, the more perpendicular it hits into the target, the harder you're going to hit. But notice this: if I were to straighten my fingers out in line with the bones in my hand, they're actually pointed up slightly. All right, so what I want to do is I want to correct the angle of my hand to make sure that these bones are going directly perpendicular into my target. Okay, remember, you want to kind of hold that pistol grip and get these two big knuckles here closer to your target. And at the very end of the punch, you want to chip the person's chin like a paint scraper, knocking off the bottom of their chin. So as you go to deliver, that little slight angle change right at the very end, you should be able to feel these two big knuckles piercing through the boxing glove and putting a lot more pop on that punch. All right, in closing, we're going to go over the right hand here. So check it out. There are a lot of fine points about the right hand that's going to make it not only a hard punch, but effective for you to also be safe. So notice, turning the punch all the way over, getting full extension. My shoulders are turned completely. My right shoulder is actually up higher than the point of my chin. This protects me from any oncoming left hooks that I may not know about. The left knee, it's slightly behind the left ankle. This allows me to shift my weight back onto my right foot with ease if I need. Now, one of the things I don't want to do is take that left ankle, or that left knee rather, and go past my left ankle. This makes it very difficult for me to change direction and shift weight. Notice here, the left hand, high and tight, protecting my chin on the other side as my elbow is in close to my body as I'm holding a magazine under my armpit. My left elbow is going to be in tight to the body, resting easily on my ribs, and my left hand is going to be up high like I'm talking on the phone. The hips. Turning the hips completely allows you to turn your spine, which is connected to your shoulders, and makes the shoulder rotation much, much easier. If I don't turn my hips, I end up having to lean to get the same amount of reach on the right hand, and I throw myself off balance. The right knee. Turning that right knee and pointing it at the back of the left knee helps me turn my hips a lot easier. Notice the foot on the rear side is turned completely. I always like using the analogy of stepping on a pickle jar and opening it. You can imagine a pickle jar being buried in the ground and you stepping on the lid and twisting your foot to open it. That's what I like to see. That ensures that my right knee is going to turn in, my right hip's going to go forward, and my shoulders are easily going to switch places and transfer power into the right hand. All right, guys, there you have it. Hopefully you got a really good lesson on a lot of the key points of how to deliver a proper right hand, and I will look forward to seeing you in the next lesson when we go over the left hook.